time is 6 o'clock p.m. My name is Corey Box. I'll be your chair for tonight's proceedings. We almost have a full house. Got a couple of people missing, but for the most part, we will be conducting business on behalf of the City of Jenks this evening. Mr. Macy, can you please verify our attendance, sir?
Brown.
Here.
Short. Emmons.
Here.
Ogier.
Here.
Abel.
Here.
Murray. Mayor Box.
Here. In tonight's invocation, we welcome Carrie Schust. Carrie is a Jenks resident. She's also the, stop me if I'm wrong, vice president, president, treasurer, secretary, enrollment person for the South Tulsa Women's Republican Club, and she's involved in many nonprofits. She pours her heart out in the City of Jenks every day. She's a good friend, and I'm thankful that you're here. How did this happen, by the way?
Well, Brandon asked, I said yes.
There you go.
So, it's always great to be in front of great leadership, so it's an honor.
One of our members is dealing with a nasty illness. If you keep him in prayer as well, that'd be much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Carrie.
All right. Go bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we come before you and we humble our hearts. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve the City of Jenks and all of its people. Thank you for the gift of leadership that stands in front of us, for the trust placed in each council member, and for shared commitment to the justice and unity and the common good. God, we thank you for the men and women that stand here and that serve our city. We begin this meeting, we ask for your wisdom to guide every decision, your peace to govern every discussion, and your vision to illuminate the path forward. We grant us clarity, the thought and compassion in our choices, and a courage to act in the best interest of every resident here in Jenks. We lift up those who are sick, and we just call them healed in the name of Jesus. Give this council a reflection of integrity, humility, and collaboration, Father God. Bless our city, its leaders, its first responders, our educators, our businessmen and women, families, and our youth. Protect those who serve and empower those who need it. Let all we do tonight be done with purpose, and in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Carrie. Mr. Allen, would you care to lead us in our pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. All right, animal welfare spotlight tonight. I know we had I saw a furry one somewhere. Where'd he go? In the back eating Matt's cake. Speaking while we're waiting, everybody join me on the count of three. I'm not going to ask you to sing. You just have to say happy birthday, Matt. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, Matt. He's 50. So apart from this young guy that's still in his 30s, we pretty much have a 50 and up crowd. You're the only one under. Well, you're well under. All right. Well, there is an animal welfare spotlight, right? Okay. The dog need a timeout? Stage fright? No, I think he's a potty break. Oh, potty break. This is awkward. I haven't been this before. What do I do now? What do we do? I guess we could, huh? Let's go ahead and wait for the, okay. Saved by the bell. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
What do we got tonight?
This here, if I can get her, is our girl Ziva. 6-month-old German Shepherd, full blood, we're pretty sure. I mean, she definitely looks like it. If you can't tell, she has got more energy than a 6-year-old. And she's just one of the many animals we have available at the shelter right now. As you guys know, no adoption fees at Jenks Animal Welfare. And yeah, she's awesome. We love her to death. But we want to see her go to a good home, just like every other dog and every other cat we have right now.
Ziza.
Ziva, like NCIS.
So she's been there how many months?
That doesn't help me much.
Month, 2 months, give or take.
She's been at 2 months.
I'm sorry?
We need to get her adopted.
Yes, we do. We need to get them all adopted. So if you guys know anybody, send them our way.
How many do we have right now?
We got about 10 right now. Yeah. We just got one adopted last week. We've had a few inquiries. It's been a bit slow, but we're working at it every day. We try to do a little better.
She is a
But
sweetie.
she's the star of the show tonight.
All right.
So, any other questions for me, sir?
When's the next?
She does.
I'm an animal advocate, okay. When's our next public, like, we can show the dogs and stuff?
I think it's actually this Saturday, I believe, at the ranch with the community event. We're gonna have a couple of dogs out there. Animal control's gonna be out there. We'll have, I don't know who we're gonna bring yet, but that's our next one. I think we got one at the end of the month at Ace Hardware.
Okay, so this one at the ranch, what time is it?
Whatever time the open house is at the ranch. I think it's 4 to 6.
4 to 6, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, so you'll have them out there at the same time.
We'll have at least 2 out there, depending on the weather. We don't want to bring 2 out there if it gets too hot, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll have at least probably 1 or 2, be walking them around and stuff and saying hi to everybody. So we're looking forward to that. It's gonna be a good day.
Okay,
So a good day is when we get a dog adopted. That's the best day,
Yeah.
best day ever around
yeah,
here. So,
thank
You
you.
have an idea. If we can get you to stand maybe on the corner of 121st and Peoria Elm around 5 o'clock for a while, you'll probably have a couple thousand people see.
hold a
That's
sign
good
that says adopt
advertising.
not me, but the dog. I mean, I come at a price too, but
Well, if you want to get in front of a big audience, go where the pain is.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, after all that, people probably wouldn't mind looking at a dog and thinking,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, there's a dog. This traffic sucks. I don't know.
Thank you for your service, Mr. McDaniel. You're
Thank you,
doing a great
guys.
job. All right, I'd like to read this proclamation if I could, please. As you guys know, I'll share this. It's a quick story. A couple, I don't know, 2 years ago, a young lady that's in the audience tonight told me she wanted to recognize her grandfather, right? Dad. Not off to a good start with the details. And, you know, at Veterans Park, so I talked to Mr. Parsons, we talked about sectioning off a part of the park, putting up some edging, maybe making something nice, and having an opportunity to recognize Purple Heart recipients, you know, folks beyond the normal that we do at Veterans Park. And I can say that if you give this guy a napkin with an idea, he can turn it into something beautiful. If you guys haven't seen Veterans Park and gone over to see the Purple Heart Garden Edition, which is what this proclamation is about, I highly encourage you to do so. So that inspiration came from a resident through my mind onto the canvas of this man here, who's a veteran himself. So it's truly something beautiful to see. And I'll just go ahead and get to it. On Saturday, August 16th at 10 a.m., we're having the dedication ceremony for the Jenks Purple Heart Garden at Veterans Park. It's probably going to be a 30 to 45 minutes. It's not a long, drawn-out thing. We're expecting it might be hot. So 30 to 45 minutes, everyone in the community is invited, and come out and be a part of our first dedication. And we will have our first name plaque appearing on the wall as well. So that's what this is about. So for the City of Jenks, Oklahoma proclamation, whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in use today, created by General George Washington in 1782 as the badge of military merit. It was the first American Service Award for common soldiers and is given to members of the U.S. Armed Forces wounded or killed in combat against a declared enemy. The community of Jenks deeply appreciates all citizens who have served in the armed forces, recognize their importance in protecting our freedoms. Many from the United States have been wounded or killed in action and received the Purple Heart for their sacrifice. Whereas the Military Order of the Purple Heart works to support combat wounded veterans and their families, promote patriotism, and ensure the sacrifices of those decorated and remembered. The City of Jenks supports the Military Order of the Purple Heart and those who risk their lives for our country. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Jenks, Oklahoma, establishes the Purple Heart Garden at 305 South Birch Street in Jenks, Oklahoma, to honor the service and sacrifice of military members wounded or killed in action. And this garden will be a lasting tribute and place of remembrance for Purple Heart recipients, showing our community's honor and support. And the citizens are encouraged to visit the Purple Heart Garden to remember the significant sacrifices made for our freedoms, and the commitment to recognizing and supporting all active military personnel, veterans, and fallen heroes, especially Purple Heart recipients, is also reaffirmed. In witness hereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the City of Jenks, Oklahoma, to be affixed on this 5th day of August of 2025. You guys come and receive it. I'll give you your copy. This is Commander Aaron Allen of the local VFW and Sherry Bullock, who's a wonderful volunteer for the Jenks Veterans Advisory Council. She's also, you are a black belt in everything, right?
Yes.
She's also an instructor at the Jenks Mixed Martial Arts Academy, and her father served in Vietnam, correct? And this is the idea, that man's hands and efforts, and we all benefit. This is how it works. So thank you very much for poking and prodding us to get this done. So this is on your behalf. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Katie. Okay, moving on. Tonight's citizens' comments or public comments. If there's anyone here tonight that would like to speak on any item that is not on tonight's agenda, you are welcome to do so. We need your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes. The floor is yours.
My name is Aaron Allen. Address is 14326 South Broadway Street in Glenpool, Oklahoma. And was there anything else you needed? Okay.
No.
Mayor Box, Council, I appreciate y'all listening to me today. So basically this year, on November 9th, it was proclaimed, was it the Veterans Appreciation Day here in Jenks. And so we, as the Jenks Veterans Advisory Council, are holding our second annual Veterans Dinner on that day. Last year, we ended up holding it at Los Cabos. This year, we would like to grow it a little bit more, give us a little bit more space. And so I'm asking for the City Council and the city to consider letting us utilize the ranch on November 9th for us to host the dinner. It would give us a little bit more space. Obviously, it would provide more opportunities for activities, music, stuff along those lines. It was a great outcome last year, and we're just looking for the same, if not better, this year. So that's everything that I've got on my end.
Thanks, Commander. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Citizens or public comment? Good evening.
Good evening, Jenks. My name is Susan Addison. I'm with Our Blood Institute, 4601 East 81st Street, Tulsa. Just coming by to remind you guys that we've got the community blood drive, Jenks Boots and Badges, is on Thursday at the ranch. And we'd love to have your all's support in helping get the word out. We're trying to get to 22 blood donations this year so that when fire or police win, they get to make a charitable donation of their choice. Walk-ins are welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Susan. Katie, is this information posted on anywhere? It's got a cool name. I think we should have a Boots and Badges. Is that what it is? Yes. This, okay. Boots, blood, and badges. Maybe if you can coordinate with her, maybe we could put something up. All right, anyone else? Public or citizens' comments? Okay, very well. Seeing that there are none, we will move on to tonight's general business. Item number 1 is our consent agenda. Council may decide to pull any item from the consent agenda for further discussion, or we can enact a motion to approve it as a whole. Your call.
So we're on the,
Item number 1.
okay, so, yeah, I'd like to just briefly pull item D.
Okay,
Item what?
D, Delta, one Delta.
all right. We can get a motion, would be great.
Motion to approve and pulling item D.
Second.
Thank you both. Proper to motion. Item 1, let's vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
OJ,
Here.
Abel,
Yes.
Here, yes.
Mayor Box.
Yes. Okay. Item number 2, we'll go back to D. Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes, on item D, on the annual audit, I just wanted to make sure that in our contract with Hinkle and Company, that we make a provision to ensure that we get an exit conference with them. As far as whoever the mayor wants to designate to sit in on that. I just think it's
I love
a healthy
that.
practice.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
We will do that.
You'd
all I
love to
need.
sit in on the exit conference, or you'd love the
Yeah.
idea?
No, I
You're
love
welcome
the
to sit on the
exit.
exit.
Yeah, I've been through the budget committee
Okay,
for
we'll figure out
5
who
years.
invites you to
I'm
that
okay with the exit
exhilarating
conference.
presentation at some point, but, yeah.
Yep.
That's standard practice for us to have that exit.
Sure.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
So
Appreciate it.
motion to approve item D with the exception that there will be an exit conference.
Second?
Okay, thank you both. Proper motion and a second. Let's vote, please.
Brown,
Yes?
Emmons,
Yes.
OJ,
Yes.
Abel.
Yes.
Mayor Box.
Yes, thank you all very much. Moving on to item 3. Consideration and appropriate action relating to resolution number 874, authorizing the Jenks Economic Development Authority, also known as the Authority, to assist the city of Jenks in carrying out and administering the Jenks River District Economic Development Project Plan adopted by the city, approving and authorizing the execution of the Economic Development Agreement by and among the authority, the city, and Raw Pickle LLC, approving and authorizing the execution of a security agreement by and between the authority and the city pertaining to certain tax increment revenues, approving the use of assistance in development financing, and containing other provisions relating thereto. We are on page 145 if you're following along. This is the meat of the city council meeting tonight, and I believe we welcome, how you doing, Nate?
I'm good, sir.
Welcome
How are
back.
you?
Good, sir. You doing okay?
Yes. Nate Ellis, Public Finance Law Group. So a couple of months ago, you may recall, we approved a preliminary development agreement with Raw Pickle relating to some sewer infrastructure improvements that kind of wanted to advance the ball with respect to those because those will be important part of the city's infrastructure long-term. And talked about we'd be coming back with a more comprehensive development agreement that relates to the incentive for their particular project. So this is the property, I'm not going to say the right street name, so it's the piece of property just south of the turnpike, right along the river. There, they've acquired it. The plans for an In the Raw restaurant, a Bahama Bucks, and a medical spa. And there's area for additional projects that have not been determined. And they've requested incentive assisting with or assistance in development financing to help with infrastructure and site improvements in amount not to exceed $4,270,000. And this document kind of incorporates and absorbs the preliminary agreement. So when they complete the sewer improvements at a cost of not to exceed, I'm remembering 680,000-ish, that those will actually be reimbursed within 30 days of their completion and acceptance by the city. The balance of this will be paid by TIF revenues over the course of time based on the revenues that they actually generate on their site. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's essentially the project.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Any questions on my left, Mr. Abel? No, any questions on my right?
So this is
Mrs.
the, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember us talking about this, the 680,000, which I know Mr. Carr can probably explain a little bit more. This is the central part of the sewer. It's like a pump or something. What's it called? God, I can't think of the name. That will let others hook up
There's
to
a
it.
lift station located on the southwest corner of the outlet mall area across the street from the outlet mall. And this sewer has to connect to that station in order to serve their area and also to serve south of there also some of the undeveloped property to the south.
So it won't only just benefit this site, it will benefit
Correct,
others in that area?
correct, yes.
Okay. I just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Mr. Ellis, you'd agree all of these costs, either now, immediate, or the long-term future, are for public infrastructure for everyone's good?
Yeah, I mean, they're authorized project costs under the plan, which include various site improvement costs that are necessary to support development.
Okay. All right. Any more questions for Mr. Ellis? Okay. I'll, don't usually do this, but we can open the floor to the public if you'd like to comment on this economic development agreement. Keep it brief. It's a lot of money. It's our money. It's your money. Okay, very well. Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Appreciate it. Any comments, Mr. Shrout, overall?
No, I think this is an exciting development, and the city's going to benefit from anything sales tax related in this area because the state will match that sales tax that the city puts into the TIF, the 2%. So I think the more sales tax producing developments we can get going within this TIF area, the more the citizens will benefit through the Leverage Act.
Thank you, sir. And for those of you that don't know, he said the word exciting, but we're up here mumbling about black and white documents. It doesn't seem that way. And sometimes I think we forget that you don't know what we're talking about. But the Raw Pickle LLC, for those of you that don't know, there's is in the Raw. There's 3 of these restaurants in the Tulsa. 4 of these restaurants in the Tulsa County area. The 5th one will be in Jenks. It'll be immediately south of the Creek Turnpike, right on the riverbed, just right over, just south and just right near the water. They occupy 10 acres. Their long-term plans include the In the Raw restaurant, medical spas, some other small of Bahama Bucks franchise, which is snow cones or happy food, wraps and things of that nature. And I think long-term they may have plans for a chic, boutique, tiny little hotel of some sort. So they have 10 acres of property and they have a really beautiful design. So this will be a great addition to the city of Jenks, and it'll be in all likelihood, it could be the first dirt that's moved over anywhere near the mall, but we'll see. So, by the way, for those of you that read social media, there's a lot going on around near the mall. And it's happening at the very same pace that it needs to happen, which is controlled by Simon Properties and not the city of Jenks. So don't read social media, because the city of Jenks has no control over what you eat and when and how the restaurant's going to be built. Because what Simon says is what Simon says, and it's not what we say. So just remember that. So the mall is doing their thing in their own time, and this particular project will be an amazing benefit. So when we talk about these dollars, they go to reimburse those project costs that are considered infrastructure that all of us could use, or that will benefit water lines moving to other parts of the mall campus for other stores, hotels, whatever the case may be. Okay? All right. Very well. That's all I have for item number 3. If there's no further discussion or debate, we can entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Thank you both. We have a proper motion and a second. And item 3, resolution 874. Let's vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Mayor Box.
Yes, sir. Other business tonight, number 1 is the city manager's report. Mr. Shrout.
Mayor and all members of council, on Elm Street, the contractor is working to complete the sidewalks on the west side of 121st and Elm. AT&T is continuing to install conduit on the west side of Elm to relocate their existing line. On Fire Station number 1 across the street from us, the red brick installation is approximately 20% complete. The interior painting on the second floor and the insulation and gypsum wallboard ceilings in the vehicle bay for fire separation between the vehicles and the living quarters is being put up. Cabinetry for the bunk rooms has been delivered to the site, and metal lockers are being installed on the second floor. The Hive, if you'll recall, we talked about potential demolition of the Hive, and I believe that the estimated cost of that was $40,000. We opted to go put that building out for bid. The high bid was $19,000. And so, there's basically instead of spending $40,000, we're getting $19,000 for that building, and I believe it's being taken apart as we speak. The Low Water Dam, there is a second of, I believe, 3 day-long workshops that will be held next week on Thursday, August 14th. So that process is progressing. I think that once the third workshop is held. We expect to have a cost estimate for the low water dam, I believe sometime in February of 2026. And at that point, we'll really know, have a better idea on the timeline of when and how much it's going to cost to construct that dam. The Shape the Ranch Together open houses, we had the second of the three a couple weeks ago. It was at 7:30 in the morning, and I was surprised. There were well over 100 people that attended. So those have been very successful. We have the final one, which is on Saturday, August 9th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We're trying to make it a fun event for basically everybody, families. There'll be, I think, hot dogs, snow cones. We'll have the fire department out there, the police department. We'll have a couple dogs up for adoption, and we can talk about the future of that property. Other upcoming events, we have a city council training with Attorney David Weatherford on Friday, August 15th at noon at the ranch. We have the Purple Heart Garden dedication at Veterans Park on Saturday, August 16th at 10 a.m. The August Jenks Chamber Luncheon is featuring G.T. Bynum, who is now the Vice President of Community and Government Affairs for St. Francis Health System. That's Wednesday, August 20th from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then the Jenks Chamber Golf Tournament is Tuesday, October 7th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at South Lakes Golf Course. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Shrout? All right, thank you, sir. I would just, one last plug for the Purple Heart Garden dedication. There's very few people. There's like 3 or 4 people that do a lot of the work in the city of Jenks. They're all volunteers. A lot of them don't even live here. That are doing a lot of hard work to make this event happen. So if you're free Saturday morning at 10 o'clock and it's something that your heart cares about and is part of your community, then please come out and be a part of it. There's a possibility we'll have the police department there rendering their 21 gun salute. I think we have the Civil Air Patrol and their honor guard locked down, maybe. So it should be a really good event. It should look like a paramilitary event. I will not be in uniform. I can't fit into it anymore, but you'll be in and out in 45 minutes, we promise, as we're expecting the weather to be whatever it may be. The chamber and staff and the chamber and the staff are working on our next State of the City address, currently scheduled for Wednesday, September 17th. In the past, this has always been done during lunch. This year we are considering doing the same, but offering a second session for the general public. It is the State of the City, so we all feel strongly that the city should be able to come whether they're paying for it or not. And of course, the second session, we'll figure that out. We'll get you the details, but it'll also likely be at the ranch. So those details will be coming soon. Mr. Shrout and I are working on a town hall meeting, open-ended discussion, whatever you guys want to talk about. People all over Jenks are chittering and chattering all over social media, so let's get them off the keyboard and face-to-face. We'll figure out where that's going to be, and we'll talk about whatever you want. And we may even get counsel there, and if we do that, then we can schedule something. But for the most part, probably just be he and I. And we'll try to be flexible on the timing as well. And as Mr. Shrout said, lots going on with the chamber, but make sure you follow them on social media. You got a bunch of ribbon cuttings coming up too in the next 30 days too, so some pretty exciting things. So please keep an eye on that. So we do not have a chamber update for you this evening. So last call from council. All right, time is 6:30 and we are adjourned. And we're going to move on to a special meeting of the Jenks. Please roll call again.
Brown.
Still here?
Short. Emmons.
Here.
OJ.
Here.
Abel.
Here.
Murray. Chairbox.
Here. Thank you, sir. Item number 1 on tonight's general business is our consent agenda. Anyone like to make a motion or review?
Motion to approve.
Second. Thank you both. We have a proper motion and a second to item 1. Let's vote, please.
Brown.
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes, thank you. We can pull item 2. Moving on to item 3 is the consideration of appropriate action relating to Resolution 2025-02, a resolution accepting the responsibilities as designated to the Jenks Economic Development Authority by the City of Jenks pursuant to the Jenks River District Economic Development Project that we spoke about earlier, the Raw Pickle LLC project, approving and authorizing the execution of a security agreement by and between the authority and the city pertaining to certain tax increment revenues, approving the use of assistance and development financing, and containing other provisions. We are on page 8, and we welcome back Mr. Ellis.
Thank you. This is companion approval on the Economic Development Authority side, so approving the same documents by the authority that you approved as a city.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Last call, questions for Nate? All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, follow up to Jenks City Council. If there's no
Any
questions or
questions,
comments,
yeah.
we can entertain a motion to item 3.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a proper motion and second to approve Resolution 2025-02. Let's vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes. Any other business? Any other business, any trustees? No? If seeing none, time is 6:33. JEDA is adjourned. And moving on to tonight's last meeting, a meeting of the Jenks Public Works Authority. Mr. Macy, if you could please verify our attendance one last time, sir.
Brown,
Here.
Short, Emmons,
Here.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Here.
Murray, Chairbox.
Yes, sir. Item number 1 under tonight's general business, consideration of appropriate action relating to an approval for our consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you both. Proper motion is second. Item 1, is roll call.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes, sir. Pull item 2. Item 3 is a presentation of the pedestrian bridge condition assessment by Garver Engineers. Good evening.
Good
sir.
evening, everyone. I'd like to present Garver Engineer. They came up today to give a presentation on the pedestrian bridge. It was a inspection program that was taken a couple of months ago. So the Garver team is, well, we got Bradley Thompson, Matthew, I got names here now, Matthew Youngblood, and we have Michael Wintersheet. I worked on that name so we can make sure I got it correctly. But Bradley's giving us our presentation here.
Thank you, Anthony.
All right.
You know, sir, you don't know this, but he might actually smile more than our previous city engineer, Chris Cloyd. So we're hoping you're in a good mood, too.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, thank you for the City of Jenks for requesting Garver to present our findings and recommendations on the Arkansas River pedestrian bridge. This project began several years ago with Phase 1, which was completed by Garver and included next slide, sorry. And included an in-depth inspection of the bridge, a load rating analysis to determine if any restrictions were needed, and ultimately to prepare a final bridge assessment report summarizing the results. And here's a brief rundown of what will be presented. Next slide. So after discussion with the city, Phase 2 of the contract will include the preparation of construction plans, specifications, and estimates. Additionally, we'll briefly discuss the breakdown of the anticipated project. And lastly, we've included a conceptual replacement option for your comparison. Next slide. So digging into Phase 1, next. First and foremost, why does this bridge need to be inspected? There are a few reasons. Firstly, the public safety is a priority. Secondly, the pedestrian bridge is a public investment. It's used daily by countless Jenks and other Oklahoma residents for recreation. Also, as the city's aware, The city and other organizations use it for various events such as fireworks, runs, etc. And some brief history on this. This bridge was built in 1948 to facilitate the traffic crossing over the Arkansas River. In '95, the bridge was closed to vehicular traffic and now acts as a bicycle and pedestrian trail, which also carries various utilities and other maintenance vehicles on rare occasion. Now, to verify the safety of our bridges, it's recommended that the pedestrian bridges are inspected every 48 to 60 months. The last routine inspection was performed on this bridge in 2013 by another consultant. So at the request of the city, Garver performed the bridge inspection in April of 2023. Next slide. So this bridge was inspected first using a drone to identify areas of critical concern before placing heavier loads on the bridge. The steel beam members, what we refer to as the superstructure, and the concrete members supporting the bridge, aka the substructure, were inspected using two methods. First, for the spans over the land, we used a boom lift, and for the spans over the water, we used what's referred to as a UBIV, or under bridge inspection vehicle. Next slide. So during the inspection, it was important to clean the various members to see what was deteriorated and by how much. And this was thoroughly documented and will be used in the preparation of the repair plans. Next slide. So time for a little Bridge 101. For those that may not be familiar, just kind of run down some of the unique members of this bridge. What traffic and pedestrians walk on is the bridge deck. In this case, it's a concrete deck with an asphalt overlay. The steel members on either side of the bridge is commonly referred to as a superstructure. In this case, it's a steel truss. Next slide. The steel truss is made up of several different members. The upper cord, the part you see from the deck, and the part underneath is the lower cord. And then there's various secondary members, vertical and diagonal members. And then that point where everything comes together is connected with gusset plates. And so Garver in-depthly inspected all of these members. The abutments are at each end of the bridge supporting the superstructure, and then the piers are supporting the superstructure throughout the length of the bridge. Next slide. So looking under the bridge, the underside of the deck is called the soffit, and then you got your longitudinal stringers, which connect to the floor beams, which then transfer everything to the bearings and the substructure below. So for this discussion, it's important to know the path that the loadings will take and how the deterioration of the bridge members affect the safety of the bridge. First, the loadings will go through the deck to the stringers, then to the floor beams. And after that, the floor beams will transfer the load to the trusses, then to the bearings. Lastly, the load will go through the bearings to the substructure into the earth. Next slide. So going over some of the findings from our inspection, typical cracking in the asphalt overlay. It's not in a horrible shape. With the deck being covered by an asphalt overlay, we weren't able to get a visual inspection on the bridge deck, but for the raised curb and the sidewalks, we noted a lot of cracking and large spalls, which could pose a safety hazard. Underneath, we did see the face of the deck, large spalls with exposed reinforcing steel. Next slide. The joints were all leaking. You can see the cracks throughout the construction joints in the spans. And then the expansion joints were covered with steel plates. A lot of those were uneven, raised up above the deck, and are loose and uneven, creating a safety hazard for bicycles and pedestrians. The metal pedestrian railings on either side, there are a few locations that have broken welds and bent pipes. Next slide.
Hang on. Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Really, really fast? And I'm sorry, because you were going over that. But are you saying that this was a concrete bridge to begin with and it was overlaid by asphalt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Which is not
It's not unusual.
unusual. Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Okay. So what does that do to the base of the concrete?
Makes it difficult to inspect, traps water in there, and propagates deterioration of that concrete deck. And so a lot of the issues that we're seeing underneath are due to water penetrating fully through that concrete deck because it's trapped under that asphalt
So it
overlay.
goes through the asphalt and then traps within the concrete that deteriorates?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, I
No, you're fine.
appreciate your answer.
Okay, moving on to the superstructure. Most of these, we're seeing the same kind of deficiencies. The protective paint coating is starting to peel, and then particularly on the upper cords, nothing significant there. On the lower cords, where it's flat and level, you're getting some water ponding, propagating corrosion, and some minor section loss of those truss members. Still nothing significant at this point. Next slide. Moving on to the gusset plates and some of the other members, you're seeing some of the same stuff, paint peeling, corrosion and pitting of the structural steel on the gussets. Nothing that would adversely impact the load rating capacity of this bridge. Next slide. So looking at the stringers, this is the area of concern. Most of these stringer ends have typical corrosion and section loss between 10 and 50%. Now, when I talk section loss, that's if you're taking a look at the cross-sectional area of the member. If you assume a member has, say, half an inch thick, and we say 50% section loss, it's now a 1/4 inch thick. So a lot of these stringer ends are pretty weathered and deteriorated. We did note 2 critical findings at these stringer ends that are either between 90 and 100% section loss. The picture on the right, you'll see it's not even connected to the floor beam. So these 2 stringer ends are areas of critical concern in that they are primary load-carrying members. Due to this critical section loss and loss of connection, they cannot transfer the loadings as originally designed. If not repaired, the stability of the bridge could threaten public safety and the bridge may have to be closed.
That inspection says it was done in April of 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we know about that in 2023? That's 2 years ago.
Next slide. Oh, one back. You're fine. So moving on to the floor beams, more typical deterioration that we found throughout the bridge where the top and bottom flanges and parts of the remaining structural steel had anywhere from 50 to 100% section loss. And while these conditions of the floor beams are not as critical, they are still severe. And without the necessary repairs being performed, they could become a critical repair item. So next slide. Looking at the substructure, very typical deficiencies we found, cracking and spalling of the concrete, and there is some minor erosion underneath the eastern abutment, nothing significant at this point. Next slide. Looking at the piers over the land and in the water, typical cracking and spalling of the concrete that just indicates it's seen a lot of freeze-thaw cycles of water and things like that. Next slide. Looking at the pier caps, where we saw a lot of cracking and large spalls with exposed reinforcing steel at these. And though, while not critical, this concrete deterioration is close to the bearings. And if it's not repaired, the concrete supporting the bearings and the ends of the trusses could become severely compromised. And if that were to happen, the stability of the individual trusses and the spans could threaten public safety and the bridge may have to be closed. Next slide. Looking at the utilities of the bridge, just noted more of the same, peeling paint, corrosion. The light poles had exposed or missing wiring. And then you also have, as you're well aware, next slide, the broken utility line or water line on the south side of the bridge. Next slide. So after our load rating analysis, what were the results? We investigated this for several different vehicles and pedestrian loads and found that the normal vehicular loading for this bridge is now limited to 28,500 pounds. From our analysis, the truck and trailer that the city uses for the fireworks display would be safe to use the bridge, provided that the recommended critical repairs be completed. However, due to the condition of this bridge, it is recommended that emergency vehicles, especially fire trucks, be prohibited from being on the bridge. And allowing access for emergency vehicles could cause extensive damage to the structural steel members of the bridge. Next. We also took a look at what maximum recommended pedestrian loading limit could be seen on this bridge. And we found that that limit is about 90 pounds per square foot, very similar to the middle picture there, applied over the entire deck and sidewalk width. And this is a larger than typical gathering of people that's seen on this bridge, but any large event may require additional analysis before granting approval. Next. So these two structural steel stringers were identified as critical repairs, and those need to occur very quickly. All the other members, while still requiring repairs, are just not as critical. Next. So while there are significant differences, as you can see in the table on the left, between the 2013 and 2023 bridge rating conditions, they are in line with current inspection practices. And currently, this bridge is still safe. However, deterioration continues to increase at an exponential rate without the required repairs and routine maintenance. Now, routine maintenance is an important factor in avoiding these critical repairs in the future. Next. The pedestrian bridge is a public investment, as you well know, and it needs to be maintained as such. Our recommendation is that continued maintenance be performed every 1 to 2 years. Additionally, in-depth bridge inspections should be performed every 4 to 5 years to keep it in service and avoid complete closure. Next slide. So as I drove over here, I saw that the barricades were still in place on this bridge toward the eastern end of the bridge, and the city should keep those up until those repairs are completed. So next slide. Next, we'll move into phase 2. Next slide. Due to funding limitations, it's anticipated that the proposed repairs will be broken out into 13 separate work packages. Shown here are the work on the deck and superstructure, work packages 1 through 10, which would include replacing the deck, overlay, and joints, performing repairs to the damaged stringers and floor beams, and then spot painting on repaired steel members. Next slide. Work packages 11, 12, and 13 would all include performing repairs on the abutments and piers underneath, replacing the damaged floor beam bottom flanges that can't be accessed from up top, cleaning and painting of all of the remaining existing and proposed steel. And want to point out that work in the river for work packages 12 and 13 would require the construction of a work road across the Arkansas River for any work done there. Next slide. So the total construction for the proposed repairs is estimated to be approximately $23 million and would take approximately 12 to 18 months if done in one construction project. However, since it's unknown if the construction will be done concurrently or one package at a time, the breakout of the costs and duration for each work package is shown here. And in any case, the critical repairs in work package 1, which spans 16 and 17, and work package 2 spans 18 and 19, will need to be completed first. It's important to note that these repairs are necessary if the water line attached to the south side of the bridge is to be replaced. Next slide. So these work packages can be constructed individually or combined as funding becomes available. Using the same contractor does allow for better efficiency. However, there could be some continuity issues if different contractors are used for each work package. And note that due to the configuration of the truss bridge, it is not feasible to keep the bridge open during construction. And this would require complete closure of the bridge for all work packages. Next slide. So the scope of services would include full engineering to preparation of construction plans as well as construction bidding assistance. It does not include hydraulic analysis for the work roads. That would include also it does not include analysis for the future low water dam, as well as the environmental studies and permitting that would be required. All of that would be added on under a future amendment. Next slide. So to go along with the 13 separate work packages, the full design fee for the bridge rehabilitation is shown here, just a little bit over $730,000. Next. And while it is estimated that the design of this bridge rehabilitation can be completed in 12 months, we could potentially accelerate the submittal of the construction plans as needed. And we are anticipating submittal of the entire set of construction plans, which would allow the city to separate out the individual work packages prior to letting as funding becomes available. Next, we're almost done. So for comparison, we've included a conceptual replacement option that would have a design fee similar to the rehabilitation. At this stage, we've assumed that the new pedestrian bridge would be built on the existing alignment, similar to the typical section shown here. However, if the city prefers, the new bridge could be designed to be narrower while maintaining the minimal trail width of 14 feet. Additionally, replacing the bridge, as we have shown here, would require a complete closure during the construction for a duration of approximately 380 days. Now, the benefits of replacing the bridge would be, one, a better useful service life of 75 to 100 years versus 20 to 30 years of rehabilitation, and two, the new bridge is designed to current bridge standards. Next slide. So the estimated cost of replacing the bridge is in a similar magnitude to that of the rehabilitation, $26 million versus $23 million. And this would include adding an aesthetic element to the bridge by cleaning, painting, and reinstalling the existing steel trusses on the new pedestrian bridge. Next slide. This conceptual replacement could have a similar appearance to the Bridgeport Bridge in Lexington, Oklahoma that was recently constructed. A very similar bridge to ours. Ultimately, whether the bridge is rehabilitated or replaced, it's important to realize that this is an investment while demonstrating the commitment to keeping this public resource open. Thank you, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have any questions or comments for this gentleman? Mr. Brown?
Yes, I appreciate your presentation. I do have some questions, and I also appreciate the conceptual redesign of a new bridge. That was one of the things. I did not see the detail of this in our packet. I know there were some of the things in here. On the conceptual redesign, you would be utilizing the same piers, correct? And the abutments on either side of the bank?
No, sir. So, and again, this is, a very high level, 10,000 foot view. We would be looking at using the same number of spans and trying to either offset the substructure, the piers and abutments, one way or the other, or depending on how the design works out, we could look at threading the needle and using just one column through where the existings are at the piers.
Okay, so we've got options on that then.
Talking out loud,
Okay,
options,
sure.
yes, sir.
In your estimation on the phase two on the construction of an alternate bridge, would that also include the cost of removal of the existing structure?
Yes, so that does include that. It's about, we've estimated about $1.5 million for removal of the existing bridge.
And as I'm not an engineer, but as I read through, it appeared that all of the analysis, the load analysis that you did was based upon the original structure and the original vehicular design. if that were not, if we were gonna say we were not gonna have any emergency vehicles on the span itself, what would your assessment be just for pedestrian traffic? Useful life.
And
Oh, useful life, so with these required repairs, I would say at the end of that 20 to 30 year useful service life, you would need to look at, potentially another large rehabilitation project. Because, as I mentioned, the deterioration of these members is ever growing. So the members that we identified as problematic or severe now, we're obviously taking care of those with this project. But items that we noted as fair or good now will be the problem child 20 to 30 years down the road.
The reason I asked that too, and again, I'm sharing this for the general public, I don't like single source solutions. I like alternatives. And I see several alternatives on this particular problem, especially when we're talking about $22 million. What we don't want is we don't want a bridge that deteriorates to the level where we have to close it off at both ends like the old 11th Street Bridge. So anything that we do there, we don't want that to be an albatross that's going across the river. And of course, we have issues that we have to think about the water lines, but in looking at the various alternatives on it is a possibility of moving the water lines to our existing main bridge. And the other thing that I'm factoring in, when you talk about 10,000 feet, we've got a meeting coming up here coming up in a week about the low water dam, and part of the proposal for the low water dam construction will also include a new pedestrian bridge. So there comes a question of, do we need 2 pedestrian bridges within a half-mile area, or could we potentially defer doing any maintenance on this at this point in time, just keeping it open for pedestrian traffic on the basis that we may have a new pedestrian bridge going in at 106th Street within a 5-year window period of time. So I'm looking at alternatives here.
could I
Please,
add something too?
please.
And I think it's worth noting that on page 72, 1.4, the load rating analysis, for the current condition of the bridge, the load rating for all primary members provided a rating factor greater than 1, which means it is,
Bless you.
signifies that the structure is capable of carrying the loads for which it was analyzed, which is the bridge's self-weight, utilities, pedestrian, and vehicular loadings. And so the current condition of the bridge, the load rating for all primary members provided a rater factor greater than 1, except for 2 locations, which would be span 16, stringer F, span 16, stringer F. And that didn't produce any results since the stringers are disconnected. And that would be, and so except for those 2 specific locations, the bridge can safely sustain both pedestrian and vehicular loadings in its current state. This is from what you
Correct.
provided.
Vehicular loadings up to that
Yeah,
28,000.
the pedestrian design load is that 90 PSF, while the heaviest anticipated vehicular load would be the B-32 snooper vehicle at 28,500 pounds. And so if I look at this, it says span 16 stringer F, which would be work plan number 1. So although, the bridge is 70 years old and deteriorating, it still can carry the load when you guys analyzed it, other than these 2 specific locations that need to have those stringers reattached.
Yes, and keep in mind that, in 10 years, we don't know what the condition's going to be like. We could start having more of these critical repairs popping up. It's kind of hard to say at this point. Could you get by with the just pedestrian traffic on there while keeping that area blocked off? Probably.
Well, I think what the counselor is getting at is, when we talk about the entire bridge and the $22 million figure, if we, what are all of our options, what's on the table here. We're presented with a design for the whole thing, but right now it can carry both the pedestrian and the vehicular load everywhere except these two areas that the stringers need to be reattached. And so I think that we need to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, although it's deteriorating because it's 70 years old, it still is perfectly functional according to your analysis.
Yes, you could just do those if the city chooses, and, you know, items like, you know, the cleaning and painting of the
Yeah.
steel, that could be kicked down the road if you choose. You know, it does, leave the existing structural steel members up to more deterioration and that kind of stuff, but, I mean, ultimately, it is up to the city to determine that.
A follow-on question, if I can. When you talk about reattaching the stringers, again, you're utilizing the existing design, which was designed for the loads. Are there alternate construction methods that we can utilize to reinforce those weaknesses that would not require going back to the original design for the original load? In other words, could we do something less expensive for the repairs to get 10 years out of it? If I were writing a check for $22 million, I wouldn't put $22 million to take care of a 77-year-old bridge. I'd
Well, and if you look at
remove
the,
it, put something new in.
and if you look at the breakdown on page,
Yeah, the print was pretty small.
on page 74,
I got 65-year-old eyes.
yeah, and on page 64, you have a breakdown of all of this, and so to reattach the two, you know, stringers at wherever that location was, that, you know, I believe if I'm reading this correctly, with labor and materials and everything else, that's a $2 million figure.
Yeah, the print, like I said, the print was too small to actually make it out. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you're looking at item number one?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the,
Yeah.
that's what is,
Yeah.
didn't meet the load rating.
Right.
Everything else did meet the load rating.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
And so I think, you know, what I'm trying to get
Yeah.
is, if you're looking at options, I think,
And would that have then an impact on our engineering costs?
That was my question.
Yeah. Is it gonna bring that 700,000 number down on the engineering costs if we're only covering that portion and looking at a temporary rehabilitation?
We would have to look into that. For what we were planning, most of the details would be able to be copied and modified over for the various work packages. So most of our design and drafting legwork would be done during those first couple of work packages.
And I guess the other thing I'm factoring in as well is we're working with a collaborative program called the Go Plan with INCOG. And that, part of that is connecting the trails, pedestrian traffic, and again, because this is a critical piece for pedestrian traffic, there may be a way to work with INCOG to come up with, again, a rehabilitation project. The potential bridge at 106, the new pedestrian bridge, throws a wild card in here that really will have an impact on what we do long-term. So I appreciate your feedback and answers on that. That $1.5 million removal number was something I needed, so that's beneficial. Thank you.
You're welcome.
the $732,000 is not laying hands on this bridge, it's design, engineering design only?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think for the public, the council hasn't heard of, we don't, this is new on our radar. So what we're asking you guys to consider when you share your feedback with us is, as Mr. Shroud, this is a 70-plus-year-old bridge. And in today's dollars, which there aren't, $23 million, we could make this 70-plus-year-old bridge whole, and we may get 20 to 30 years out of it. So we might, $1 million a year maybe is what we get out of this bridge. Assuming it lasts 20, maybe we get a little more if it goes 30 years. Or we consider investing up to $30 million and starting over with something new that gives us 75 to 100 years of life. Okay. So we had a preliminary discussion about this, just a few of us in our mayor's meeting. So we are in the brainstorming and throwing out ideas stage. And for those of you in Jenks that maybe don't know, what the vice mayor is talking about is the low water dam funding could be an issue. So even though the low water dam looks like a park and it's got a trail running across it, there may not be money to make it look that pretty. It may be a low water dam. And then 5 years later, as the funding comes, there could be a pedestrian trail. Think of the bananas and the ice cream as the dam, and then the sprinkles and the whipped cream are where we walk and the pretty stuff and the looking at the bald eagles and all that. There may not be any money for whipped cream and sprinkles. So the balance of 23 of our $1 million to rehabilitate a very old dam that lasts 25 years if we're lucky, or spend an equal amount of money starting over, is what we're asking you guys to think about, and what we're asking you to share your feedback with your council and staff. And that's kind of going to be the decision we have before us. I think ultimately, from a public safety standpoint, it is really our only obligation. So I would be in favor of us approving any of the critical expenses we have right now. And 2 follow-up questions. There is no scenario in the last many years where we've had 90 pounds per square foot of people on that bridge ever. I've never seen that many people on the bridge. And there's never a vehicle that weighs 28,000 pounds on that bridge either, is there? Well,
Only the vehicle that we put on it.
the one you put on it, okay.
And it can handle that.
So there is no other scenario in which we have a safety concern of a marathon running across that bridge or a bunch of vehicles. It's just not happening. Okay, so we don't have any immediate safety concerns, but in the evident potential, we don't want to be the ones that didn't approve it. I would recommend we approve the design and the critical repairs. But I also think for the public's sake, we probably need to have a larger discussion with the public about how are we gonna, what's this bridge gonna look like? Or are we gonna start over? Or, yeah, we could scrap the whole bridge and get rid of it, and we can count on the fact we could divert these dollars into the low water dam project that might be short on funding and make sure that happens. Or we could have 2 of these things. So that's what I'm asking the public to consider and keep in mind. Out of respect for his time, any other questions for our friends at Garver? Anything else from us? You did smile one time, by the way.
Thank you.
It's too late. All right. Thank you for your presentation. Very, very good job and very in-depth. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Mr. Mayor, for the rest of the council, one of the things I've also asked our city manager to do is see if we can assess what the actual pedestrian traffic use is. We wouldn't want to put $22 million in there and then find out that only 1,000 people are using it per month, where the cost is $40,000 per person.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I can tell you this, if that bridge were felt as safe and as comfortable as the river trails on the Tulsa side, it would be used a lot. Just years ago, when Landon got a new skateboard, the Heine goes really fast, we tried it out, and that was the last time you'll ever want to do that on that bridge, because of those steel plates that cover the expansion joints just are a nasty hazard. So that bridge is not fun, and if it's not fun, nobody's using it. But if we're anything like across the river, Tulsa did a good job on those, and those biking trails are really nice. And if we had something that safe and that effective, then I think it could get used a lot. So. Nor do I want to be part of the administration that tears down the pedestrian bridge. Just saying. I can see it there for a long time. Okay, we are still on item number 3. Thank you very much. We're moving on to item number 4, which is the award of design contract for professional engineering services for Jenks Arkansas River pedestrian bridge rehabilitation. It's a $732,600 contract. We are on page 69. Is there any questions for Mr. Wilkins on the contract itself? If so, ask him. If not, we'll give him.
are we going to come back and have them revise that based upon our discussion this evening?
That was my question. Is that number changed because we only want them to do the section that we think, or it be an option B?
What do you think?
What the number?
I can speak on that as well.
Okay. You mind coming up?
Robert might have these numbers memorized as well. But we looked at that originally, so we put together a design fee just to address those critical locations. And it's about half is what we presented here. Because a lot of our stuff that we'll do and create models, we'll use those multiple times. So a lot of the stuff, again, there's a lot of efficiency whenever we added to it. And so I think the idea at the time was how much to design everything and divide it into work packages. So when other critical things pop up, you would have the construction plans to be able to break that out as necessary. So again, right now, it's the east side, but if we had the whole design, or if you guys had the whole design and a plan set, and then if something happened on the west side for whatever reason, you could break that off and use that at the time.
What's your recommendation, Mr. Carr?
The memorandum that you have on the
Yeah.
second page of the memo, it broke it up into different work packages. I don't remember, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I think my recommendation would be for you to award the contract for work package 1, and then we can negotiate a final fee based upon what I believe is still a good number that you have in your memorandum.
Satisfied, Mr. Brown?
The only caveat that I have with that is the whole discussion on the work packages is still based upon the premise of doing the entire rehabilitation to extend the life of it versus a temporary patch with the idea that we'll take it down and replace it with something new or put our investment into another bridge.
And very, very good thoughts on all of this. The other caveat on this is that we've got that water line that we really need to repair, and we can't do that until we fix the bridge. That's why we got OWRB to allow us to do the bridge repairs under the loan program also. But if we just start with the one work package, then that will allow us to go on to fixing the water line. Now, the question is, will the bridge come down? Don't know.
Yeah, and that's
So
the
it buys us some time.
That's, again, the question is if we are looking at replacing the bridge, the water line is going to have to be replaced anyway. So from that standpoint, if we know that we've got to take it down, that's going to impact the water line, which means we really need to move the water line off of the bridge to our main bridge or someplace else. Because I don't think we can support the water line if that bridge is going to come down.
No, it would be hard to do that.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
think, again, I would prefer to have them rethink this on the premise that we're looking at temporary rehabilitation. I would be surprised if anybody in the public would want to see us spend this much money to rehabilitate a 77-year-old bridge versus taking that same amount of money and putting up something new.
Would you be amenable to the idea of approving the resolution as is and having Mr. Carr and Mr. Wilkins come back in
Absolutely.
30 to 45 days with a summary of what was discussed, and we'll trust that they do due diligence and negotiate?
Absolutely. I have
So we
complete
don't,
confidence in
otherwise
Mr.
we're not going to
Yeah.
get anywhere tonight.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm
nobody
fine
here
with that.
knows how much this number is going to be.
Yeah.
Would that be fair?
That's absolutely.
A little homework, just get back to us and decide what you guys all decided to do as far as keeping,
I trust you guys
Making that
both.
record.
You're the professionals.
just knock $100 off that bill and call it a day.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you, sir. Okay, we are still, we are on item number 4, I believe.
Okay, so I'll make a motion then that we award the contract to Garver Engineers with the stipulation that they will come back with our professional team with any proposed amendments that pursuant to our discussion and bring that back to us at a later time.
What time? Give a date.
Within
What's a
45
reasonable amount of time, Mr. Carr, Mr. Wilkins? 45, 60 days, 90 days?
45 days it is.
So it'll be October? Is that right? First of October?
I'm happy to give them 60 days, but
60 days is fine as well. I'm okay with that.
everybody remembers 60. It's easier to remember than 45.
First meeting in October.
There you go. Okay, we have a motion in item 4. Did we get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a proper motion in the second on item 4. Let's vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes, item number 5 is resolution 2025-07. This is a supplemental appropriation, the amount of the same amount, $732,600 for the pedestrian bridge rehabilitation project. We're going to move this money from the JPWA OWRB account, Program Capital Fund account, over to OWRB Projects and Roads and Bridges account. Any questions? This is a standard movement of money. Any questions for Mr. Sims, or do you want him to?
Do we need to move that much money if we don't know?
I would say it's the safe bet as we move it, and then we let him do a resolution to move it back. What do you think, Mr. Sims? I won't even ask you to stand up for this.
This is not actually moving money. This is just appropriating the funds that we have from the loan, with the OWRB fund. So really, this is just, again, just appropriating those funds for this project. It doesn't mean we'll have to spend 732.
Sure.
It just,
Okay.
it appropriates those funds to be spent.
So it just puts a line item next to it.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
can amend it if we need to.
Yeah, so we're not required, like I said, we're not required to spend that, just up to 732.
Would that encumber those funds that would deter other projects potentially?
It's not encumbered yet, it's just appropriated. It's
Okay,
basically just
okay,
a budget.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing further on item 5, we can entertain a motion.
So moved. I make a motion to approve item 5.
I'll second it.
Thank you both. We have a proper motion and a second to approve resolution 2025-07. Let's roll call, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes. Item 6 is the award of contract for office and laboratory roof replacement at the wastewater treatment plant to R. Turley Roofing Incorporated in the amount of $33,500. We're on page 104. If you're following along, Mr. Parsons. Good evening, sir.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council and Vice Mayor. I can't beat the structural integrity of the pedestrian bridge, but we do have some structural problems out at the wastewater treatment plant, specifically the roof. The wastewater treatment plant was built in 1981, that facility. And as far as I know, my investigation, the roof has never been repaired or worked on since 1981. And all of this rain that we've been getting the last several months has really exposed our weaknesses. And we found out out at the wastewater treatment plant, kind of in a weird way, the ceiling fell inside of the office. The grids fell, and I had a contractor come out and say, how much is it going to cost to replace the ceiling? He said, well, I can't really replace the ceiling because you need to replace the roof. So I went out and inspected it, and every contractor that went out there to inspect it, including Turley, said, yes, the roof does need to be replaced. So I'm requesting from the council a amount of $33,500 to replace this roof. And we can't replace the ceiling tile or the grid inside until the roof is replaced. And this is an unplanned budget amount, kind of unexpected, so that is my request.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Parsons. Any questions for Barry from council?
I have 2 questions. Obviously, R. Turley was the low bid.
R. Turley was the low bid.
Okay. And then what is it asphalt or is it metal?
It's asphalt and metal. So it's the gravel, I'm not a roofer, but it's the gravel roof with the what do you call that? It's like a urethane that goes in between. And then, I'm not exactly sure, but all of them checked it and said it needs to be replaced, so.
Any other questions from council? Thank you for keeping it local. R. Turley is a local Jenks-based company.
Oh, yeah, they've done
Yeah.
some stuff for us and has done a good job.
Okay. If there's no other questions on this potential contract award on item 6, we can entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Emmons,
Yes.
Ogier,
Yes.
Abel,
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes, item 7 is Resolution 2025-08. It's a supplemental appropriation of $33,500 for the award we just voted on, coming from the 1 cent capital fund to sewer plant buildings and improvements. We are on page 121. Assuming there's no questions on this, similar actions.
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Thank you. We have a proper motion and a second. Item 7, let's vote.
Brown.
Yes.
Emmons.
Yeah.
OJ.
Yes.
Abel.
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes, thank you. Any other business? Last call from council. All right, quick announcement for me. This will be my last council meeting for probably about 2 months. I will be local, but I will not be available. I'll be pursuing some professional education somewhere else. You're in good hands with Vice Mayor Brown, and if he's not here, you got the former Vice Mayor OJ, and if she's not here, then hopefully somebody will be here. Somebody will be here to take care of the house. Yeah, it'll be Mr. Short, who's traveling today. So, but we'll have a full house. I'll still be engaged. I'll still be participating, just not be able to be here and making you smile and calling for roll calls. So thank you guys very much for the opportunity. It is 7:20 p.m. and we are adjourned.